How Soy Milk Symbolizes an Imagined Vietnam of My Childhood in France, written by Tom Phạm. This audio article is part of Vignette, a series by Saigoneer. Vignette is a series of tiny essays from our writers, where we reflect, observe, and wax poetic about the tiny things in life. I still remember vividly the anticipation running through my veins when I saw a waiter bringing me a glass of soda nành every time my family took me to one of the many Vietnamese restaurants of the 13th arrondissement of Paris, the city's renowned Chinatown. It was a neighborhood I was bound to get dragged to as a French kid with a Vietnamese parent, whether I wanted it or not. For me, this glass represented the quintessence of typical Vietnamese drinks during a good meal, one of the rare glimpses into the daily customs of my ancestors' culture. The dishes in those restaurants were good, but I was used to eating them at home, cooked by my grandmother. They were already part of my usual experiences, and as such, didn't evoke the special feeling of Vietnamese authenticity, not like soda nành. I can recall restaurants over-the-top decorations and customers shouting one louder than another. In the midst of it, I only focused on my drink. It tasted mild, but with a slight earthy note. More than anything, the coldness shielded me from the heat of the meal, which I couldn't wait to devour. Soy milk isn't the only drink offered there, and there are versions of it everywhere. From cans at the store around the corner to homemade soy milk, the quality might differ depending on the restaurant, but it's always on the menu. This is why I was certain that soy milk was the go-to drink for any Vietnamese person when eating out, the real taste of Vietnam. Imagine my surprise when I arrived in Saigon to discover that the first restaurant I went to didn't offer soda nành. Was there a shortage at the moment? Did I stumble upon the only restaurant without soy milk? I quickly understood the reality of the matter. The ubiquity of soy milk was an imagination of my own. Baffled by this realization, I looked to see what everybody else was drinking when the server approached me. Is chada okay? Everywhere I went, tea was the de facto drink for Vietnamese food, and soy milk was nowhere to be found. Chada's role here is what I thought soda nành would be. Since then, I've had opportunities to get my hand on soy milk, be it in higher-end restaurants or special milk stalls in Dalat style, a city I have yet to visit. However, the taste is always different from the one I drank before setting foot in Vietnam. I was eager to find a representation of a country that only existed in my mind, only to realize what I sipped tasted like soy milk. It was good, but the distinctive taste of getting closer to Vietnam was absent. Maybe soy milk was just a me fantasy, not even an experience all French kids with Vietnamese backgrounds have. What I have come to accept now is that the mythical Vietnamese taste I longed for is not locally present. If I go to Paris now and order one of these glasses I've had so many of, I know it won't feel the same anymore. It was never about milk, nor was it about Vietnam. The Vietnamese daily life I thought I could pick at via the bottom of those soda nành glasses lit an interest in a side of my heritage that had felt far away. Thank you for listening to this piece from the Saigoneer archives. To view this article and find more stories about Vietnam, accompanied by original photographs, illustrations, and videos, visit saigoneer.com or follow the link in the description.